Pastor Josh here. We're reading Genesis chapter 38, verses 12 through 19. We are continuing this disturbing story about Judah and his daughter-in-law Tamar. So if you remember, Judah is supposed to be giving his next son to Tamar when he gets older. But he has not done that. It was an intentional deceptive part on Judah because he was afraid his younger son was going to die as well as the other. So let's find out what happens. In the course of time, the wife of Judah, Shua's daughter, died. And so Judah is just surrounded by death. His sons have died as a result of being sinful, but it was connected to their marriage to Tamar, and now Judah's own wife has died. And so once Judah was comforted, saying he is recovered from the time of intense grief, he went up to Timnah to his sheep shears, he and his friend Hira the Adulamite. And so this Hira showed up earlier, and this would be an example for us not to follow, because this Hira just seems to be a buddy of his that kind of gets him into trouble. And so because of his friendship with Hira, he has married a Canaanite. So Shua's daughter was a Canaanite, and so rather than Judah keeping the family pure as far as folks that would worship the one and true God, Judah's just basically left the family at this point and just doing his own thing. And Hira the Adulamite is part of that problem, that issue. And now, after his wife has died, he has gone with Hira to Timnah to shear his sheep. And this would be kind of a party type atmosphere. They would go there and celebrate because as you shear the sheep, that means you would have wool to sell, and that means that you would have extra cash on hand. And then so sometimes these would devolve into just kind of wild parties, if you will. So he's doing this after his wife has passed away. And when Tamar was told, your father-in-law is going up to Timnah to shear his sheep, she took off her widow's garment and covered herself with a veil, wrapping herself up, and sat at the entrance to Enam, which is on the road to Timnah. So she heard what Judah was going to do, so she took off her widow's garments. And I think it's worth looking here, or noticing here on Tamar's part, because we'll see what her ultimate plan is here, is to deceive Judah. But notice her loyalty to the family. Once she realized that Judah was not going to give her his son, she could have married another Canaanite. She could have given up on being a part of this family, but she is dedicated, so much so that she is still wearing her widow's garments. So she took off her widow's garments. She covers herself so that Judah will not know who she is. So let's see what continues to happen. For she saw that Shelah was grown up. Shelah would have been that younger son that was supposed to marry Tamar, and she had not been given to him in marriage. So Judah, it's now clear that Judah is not planning to give Shelah to Tamar as a husband. When Judah saw her, he thought she was a prostitute, for she had covered her face. So here is the deception that Tamar is doing. She is hoping to have a child by Judah if Judah will not give her his son as husband. And so Judah then turned to her at the roadside and said, "Come, let me come into you," for he did not know that she was his daughter-in-law. And so right there's your sin, sexual sin of this particular nature with prostitute. Not good at all. And notice we're talking about that this is Judah. This is the future kingly tribe from which Israel, or from which David, the king of Israel, will come, and from which Jesus will come himself. We see grace latent in this. God is protecting the seed, right? He is protecting the seed that will one day, this man that will one day come and crush the head of the serpent. He is protecting it even in the midst of great sin and a deceptive sin all together. And so this was her plan all along. And so she said, "What will you give me that you may come into me?" But notice that Judah is actually, and Judah will even say this himself at the end of this story, Judah is the one that is even though she's tricking and even though she's being deceptive, Moses is going to frame it that Judah is the bad guy in this situation. He is the one that has brought Tamar to do this. And even as weird as it is to us, apparently in the ancient Near East at that time, it would have been okay and perhaps even encouraged if a father's sons married somebody and they were not able to have children by their wife, and then they die, and the husband or the father doesn't have a wife either. In the ancient Near East, this is not biblical at all, but just to help you understand what's happening there, it would be okay and perhaps even encouraged that daughter-in-law would produce children by him. So Moses is trying to make clear that right here, he did not know that she was his daughter-in-law, and in making clear that Judah is the one that is in the sinful condition here. He is the one that is engaging a prostitute. He is the one that is doing wrong. And so he answered, "I will send you a young goat from the flock. This is going to be your payment." So he's acting by impulse. This is nothing he planned to do. This is all impulse. This is all bad, wicked, evil. And she said, "If you give me a pledge until you send it." So what are you going to give to me? If you said you're going to give me a goat, then I need to have some sort of pledge that you're going to give that to me. And he said, "What pledge shall I give you?" And so she replied, "Your signet and your cord and your staff that is in your hand," because those are going to be identifying pieces, and that's going to be used a little bit later in the story to prove to Judah that the child that Tamar is going to have is actually Judah's. So he gave them to her and went into her, and she conceived by him. Then she arose and went away. Taking off her veil, she put on the garments of her widowhood. I pray that has been a help to you as we read a difficult passage, and I will see you in the next video.